Hello everyone, good evening. We are back with webinar number 27 at Igniting Power Engineer platform on very important topic. The topic is CEA Safety Regulations, Measures Relating to Safety and Electric Supply 2023, which was released on 8th of June 2023, a step towards electrical accident-free India. Dear all, every day we get news of electrocutions, fire, which are extremely painful. Yes, all these news are very painful. We feel helpless. We start blaming agencies. But again, we forget. We forget till next news arrives or broadcast by social media. It is worth to state here that good safety regulations are well in place. The only need to understand and implement. Need to aware people to make our nation free of electrical accidents. Need to get a lesson from previous accidents happened. Need to change the mindset. We should not forget, don't let carelessness take control. Practice electrical safety as your goal. When the safety is on, accidents will be gone. Think safety first, a little safety now prevents a big shock later. Ground the circuit before it grounds you are the slogans related to electrical safety. Taking cognizance of the situation, we are going to discuss this very important topic, CEA Safety Regulation 2023. This documents of 82 pages comprises of 14 chapters. It talks about preliminary definitions, designated person, CEC, training and certification. It talks about general safety requirements. It talks about general condition relating to supply and use of electricity. It talks about safety provision for electrical installations and apparatus of voltage not exceeding 650 volt and more than 650 volt also. It talks about safety requirement for overhead lines and underground cables. It also talks about the safety requirement for electric traction. It talks about mines and oil fields. It talks about safety requirement for renewable generating stations. It also talked about electric vehicle charging stations and HVDC systems. It also talked about gas insulated substations, and some checklists and forms are also there in that document, which will be explained in a better way by Respected Appavoo Sir. From the core of my heart, I would like to thank my family, my well-wishers, my mentors, my supporters and friends. I would like to thank Almighty, my parents, my wife, my son. My mentors include respected PP Bhai Sahab, Anjali Chandra Ma'am, KK Murthy Sir, KK Gupta Ji, NK Mittal Sir, P. Ramachandran Sir, S. Appavoo Sir, Hitesh Chauhan Ji, Dr. Kamal Bansal Sir. The list of my friends includes Saket Gupta Ji, Arvind Thukral Ji, Dinesh Singh Ji, SK Batta Ji, Vishendat Ji. Last but not the least, my team working day and night, 24/7 for making this to happen, Gulab and Ramdhani. Time to give a brief introduction about the today's presenter, the legends on earth, S. Appavoo Sir. He retired as Chief Electrical Inspector to government. Presently, he is the General Secretary of National Federation of Engineers for Electrical Safety. He completed his Bachelor of Engineering in Electrical Electronics in 1980. After that, he worked as a maintenance engineer in Enfield, India. He also worked as assistant engineer in PWD. Then he joined Department of Tamil Nadu Electrical Inspectorate in 1983 and retired as Chief Electrical Inspector in 2015. We talk about his experiences. He has wide experience in the calibration and testings of electrical measuring instruments, testings of motors, transformers, and other electrical equipments. He has again good experience in scrutiny and approval of electrical drawings and inspections of extra high voltage and high voltage installation under CEA regulation, safety regulation, investigation of electrical accidents and fire causes analysis. He has coordinated various state government departments and stakeholders for the implementation of energy efficiency measures and policy formation in the state of Tamil Nadu under the Energy Conservation Act 2001. Now, time to talk about the professional skills and expertise. He is a certified energy auditor. He has conducted many seminars organized by BAS, CA, BEE, IEEE, FICCI, etc. on electrical installation, design, safety, earthing, and energy conservation. He has undergone training in Japan under the Indo-Japan Dialogue on Energy Conservation for India. He has also gone training in Germany on the calibration reference electrical standards. Now, time to hand over this stage to Respected S Appavoo Sir to give his presentation on Safety Regulation 2020-23. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Ji. I would like to upload my.
Please, sir.
Share my screen. Just a moment.
Yeah.
Sir, I have to open my PPT, isn't it? I have opened. And
you just go to the share button. There is one share option is there at the bottom of your screen. You just click on the
share screen is there.
Yes.
Share screen option, share screen.
There is green icon at the bottom line.
Shows advanced sharing option.
There is green icon of share screen. There is one arrow is there. Just
yes. That shows one participant can share at a time.
Yeah.
Multiple.
You are allowed to share. You are the host.
Asked only, all participants asked only. There is one advanced sharing option where it shows one participant, multiple participants asked only. But here,
you click on that one, multiple participants can share simultaneously. You select that one, then you share. Gulab, kindly help sir to share the screen.
Okay, sir.
Otherwise, you share the screen at your level. I have given you the PPT.
There is some advanced setting and one participant can share at a time, but my desktop is not coming with.
Now try to share, sir. I have changed the setting.
Okay.
Now you can share.
Yeah.
Are you able to share now?
Yeah, yes. Now I am able to see.
Please. Thank you. Your screen is visible now.
Okay. I'll just check up.
Go to the first slide, sir. All slides are okay. Go to the very first slide.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Go to the slideshow. Okay. Is it
Yes, sir. Visible. Kindly continue.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I'm sorry for the small trouble. Rajesh ji, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to the IPE members, especially Mr. Vahis Sir and Mr. Manas Kundu. Because of their initiation and other IPE members' initiation, we are conducting the second edition of this series. I would like to thank IAMP also, and especially once again congratulate Mr. Rajesh Arora-ji for his continuous effort in bringing awareness for minimizing electrical accidents in our country. With that, I would like to share my thoughts. One second. Okay.
Kindly open the slideshow. Your screen is visible, but there is no slides visible.
It shows screen is passed.
There is option of resume slideshow. This at the top, you will find that icon. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's okay right now.
Okay. Oh, fine. So the contents of this presentation is to enlighten the consumer's responsibility, then what's the supplier's responsibility, then earthing system, more importantly, earth resistance and earth loop impedance, then responsibility of competent person, contractors and ESO's role, then powers of electrical inspectors, supplier and CESs, specific provision for various types of installations, and the voltage classification, due to which some possible interpretation of regulation that can occur. Then safe work practices. Finally, a verification, which is mostly missing in this. Why I am devising this? Because explaining all the regulations is not possible at this stage. However, I would like to attack the present scenario. We are hearing a lot of electrical accidents in our country. Almost 15,000 accidents occur every year, in which we can say that 48% occur in electricity distribution system up to 33 kV on lines, and remaining 50% occurs in consumer premises. That is especially domestic and LG installations. So only just minimum 2% alone happen at EHV substations and as well as the generating plant, transmission, EHV transmission lines, and so many highly technical people are involved, because in those areas, people knowledge and people caliber also are very high, and the other ones of standards are also very high. So that's why a minimum, barest minimum accidents occur there. However, the accidents do occur. Failure as well as the consumer's failures. We have seen that in the recent past, street lighting pole, a person got electrocuted at Delhi, and recent a major project at Uttar Pradesh, which where more than 17% people died, and some people in Noida commercial premises, and we are also seeing a lot of AC fires in the domestic premises. So that's why I wanted to have focus on these specific areas instead of concentrating on the other total areas, which is also not possible within this time of 1 hour. Okay, I will come to the first and foremost important aspect of electricity regulations. That is Central Electricity Authority measures relating to safety, Regulation 2023. Here, this Regulation 14 is an important item because it alone speaks in a generic, of course, in a generic manner, speaks full outline of any installation, how it should be constructed, installed, protected, worked, and maintained. So, in the important provision here is so far these NBC, NEC, and standards were all given as a recommended measures. Now it has been made mandatory by the wording, specific wording shall be followed. Once the regulation has made it mandatory, then those things will also be treated as a statutory implements. So that's why they are insisting that materials and apparatus shall conform to the relevant standards. And you can see the definition also, they have given a provision for adopting various standards throughout the globe. This is, if there is an Indian standard, you observe it. Otherwise, you go for IEC. So these two standards are important standards, because if you can't find anything from these two standards only, you can go for IEEE or EN. These are also options available, because there are some product standards where you have to refer. At times, you can refer the other standards also. So before explaining these aspects, I would like to touch upon the earthing system, because people are confusing with the earthing protocol and what the IS and EC says. There is much of confusion as far as the LT and supplies insertions are concerned, and the general earthing arrangement. There are only three chances. Only is TNS. The TN in the TT, this is the TNS system. In the TNS system, the source neutral is connected to air, and your equipment frame will be brought up to the main terminal. Then it will be connected to air. Of course, you will be having another earth electrode for your insulation also. And that is required for lighting protection and other things. Otherwise, this is the only thing. Here you can see if any fault occurs, everything will be to earth conductor, PE conductor. This we call it PE conductor. This will flow and it will reach the source. So this will be in the order of, these are rigid flats. PE conductors are rigid flats according to the point of application. It will be rated for the fault level. So naturally it will be of higher size 1. So the ohmic value will be in the order of milliohms. But there will also be a possibility of another path of earth return path through this source, through the general mass of earth to the source. But it will be negligible because this circuit will be in the order of milliohm, whereas this circuit will be in the order of, let's say, more than 5 to 10 ohms, depending upon the site condition and soil resistivity. So 10 is to 10 power minus 3. So only 1,000th of a part will be flowing through the circuit. So TNS system is more effective, what you can say, I can say. So your protective device will be in a position to see the maximum fault current and trip the circuit to protect the circuit, by protecting the circuit against any earth fault as well as short circuit. Again, suppose if we remove this link, I have shown one link. If we remove that link, then it becomes a TT system. Here, what we can see is this fault current will have to necessarily go to the general mass of earth. So there will be earth resistance constituted by your own earthing system and the source, that is supplier or your own transformer earthing system. It will be in the order of, say, 10 plus 10, 20 ohms. Instead of milliohm TNS system, you will be having several tens of ohms. So the fault clearing device will be able to see very lower current. It may not trip. That is why the regulation provides RCDs or TT system. So these are the basic principles. And one more thing, what we do in a TT system is we are inadvertently connecting many things, because, for example, cable armor we are connecting, bus duct we are connecting. These are connected to the frame of, but in the insulation, the frame of the source earth electrode will be interconnected with the source neutral earth electrode. Thereby, you will be having unintentional connection that can result into an inefficient TNS system or inefficient TT system. So you can't have a design value either for the TT system or for the TNS system unless you provide an insulation that is not occurring regularly. That's why I say this is all the TT system that we claim in our insulation are actually become an ineffective TNS system. Here, the cable armor will have to carry the fault current, and the general mass of earth will also have to carry. Actually, cable armors are not intended to carry the fault current. They are supposed to protect the cable and have some screening against EMI and the electromagnetic interferences. But it is unfortunately resulting into a fault carrying conductor. That's why in a TT system, either you adopt a TT or TNS, that is your choice, but you have to make it. So one more thing is the TNC. I am not explaining all the type of system getting available. Only if you think that you can go through these standards to know more. As per BS 732, you can see this figure 15. Why I am saying is this is TNC. That is, the neutral is acting as a protective earthing conductor also, because suppliers have a vast geographical area where they can't be able to provide a separate conductor for earthing exclusively. That's why they are permitted to have a combined conductor for bringing neutral as well as the earth. So here what they have to do is they have to provide multiple earthing along the pole. The CEA regulation says they have to provide multiple earthing up to the consumer premises. Because of these combined earth resistance values and several hundreds of consumers within the downstream the transformer and the several kilometer length of line downstream the transformer, they all will be constituting a combined earth resistance value, which will be very less if it is done as per CEA regulation. That's why the TNC system is adopted worldwide and in our country also. Here you can see that this is a source, this is a distribution, this is a consumer areas. And the PEN is protective earth neutral. This is also known as protective multi-PME conductor. So PME. Protective conductor is earthed at multiple locations to reduce the overall earthing, combined earthing value for the suppliers to avoid any high voltage impressed with the consumer's premises. This is the objective. Then, so this is another thing. Regulation 43, it says about the connection with the earth. This is the thing that has been revised. After this 2023 regulations, it has done a wonderful job. Majority of the confusions that occurred in the previous 2020 and the year rule have now been eliminated. You can see from 43, so this is the connection with the earth. Here, what they say, from 50 volt up to 650 volt, this is a provision. One is neutral will be earthed at 1 or more points along the distribution system or service line in addition to any connection with the earth, which shall be at the consumer. Which I have already explained in my previous slide. So the supplier, this is a supplier responsibility. They have to earth the neutral conductor at 1 or more points along the distribution system. Then, or at the service line also. Another thing, all the electric system belonging to a supplier should be tested for resistance. Here only the resistance comes into picture. You will be knowing from, because previously people were using the terms invariably, they measure the earth resistance value of every earth electrode. The auditors coming into picture, they are demanding earth electrode resistance. It has become a very popular saying from the auditors. So actually, additionalities and make it clarity. The standards have now prescribed earthing system belonging to the supplier shall be tested. And as far as the consumer premises is concerned, earth loop impedance. This is earth fault loop impedance, which shall be tested to ensure automatic operation of protected device. The earth fault loop impedance is that one that I have shown in our first slide. The protected earth conductor with the supplier, which is a source, it's a transformer or the generator. Its source impedance, that is a winding in the line conductor impedance, then the protective earth conductor impedance. This will be constituting to a not even 1 ohm. It will be mostly less than 1 ohm, depending upon the fault level and the distribution arrangement. So this is the important aspect in this new regulation. We should follow earth fault loop impedance to ensure the protective gear operate the automatic operation of protective device. For example, if an MCB you are using in your home, say you are using 32 amps, it can trip at 32 amps B type or C type. For C type, it can trip at 10 times, 320 amps. Suppose if you don't have a fault loop impedance, which will allow this much of fault current, then your MCB will take care in TNS system. You mind it is TNS. So ultimately, the regulations prevail over the standards and codes in case of any disparities. This is we are going to treat in the domestic premises. I'm again saying our concern is in the domestic and distribution sector where accidents are more. We are not going for the complex nature of installations that can, for example, be EHV installation or GA substation. We are not touching those areas. Of course, if the connection exceeds 650 volts, there is a same. The entire switchyard or substation. So the purpose is to limit the touch and step potential to tolerable values. This is the purpose. Here also maintain the resistance of earth connection to such a value to make the operation of protective device effective. So where the earth electrodes come into picture, the supply area and EHV substations, where the limitation of touch and step potential are taken into consideration. But these considerations are also there in the LT premises. It can be easily handled by the MCBs and your residual current device if you are not comfortable with your MCB as well as your TT system. So what the standards, the regulation 44 says is, use of electricity to electrical installation shall be controlled by the RCD. So here you cannot be expected to have the required loop impedance in a TT system where the residual current device is essential. But it has become mandatory because we are not confident that whether we will provide Hearthing system with integrity of achieving F-fault loop impedance or TNS system. So we are relying on the residual current device. It is a mandatory. Without this device, no service connection will be issued. It is existing for the past several years. Another thing. So this is the provision for supply and use of energy in multi-stored building. So far we have dealt with the domestic premises because some accidents occur in multi-stored buildings where evacuation and people escape route, everything is limited. So there should be some specific norms. Here, what they say is, I am not quoting all the regulations. As per regulation 38(1), it shall be if it exceeds more than 15 meters in height, you should be inspected by the statutory authorities. And this is an important provision, which is as per sub-regulation 3, it is applicable for other premises where the height can even be less than 15 meters. This is an important provision. So whenever the consultant or contractors are taking a new job at hotel or places of entertainment, because these are areas where people assembling and feeble, weaker people will be going for treatment, medical treatment, and it can be a worship location or cultural. These are select important locations where the term other premises coming into picture. They have to follow the necessarily all the provisions applicable for the multi-story buildings. Here, one more provision as per sub-regulation 3.5 is distribution of electricity for floors shall be using bus bar trunking system. Because you are all aware that bus bar trunking provides a very minimal fire propagation because unlike a cable, the bus bars are containing only metals, very least amount of toxic emitting insulators. So it is relied upon to be provided at the special areas and MSB areas. And verification as per relevant. It is, of course, this is applicable for all installations, but here they are stressing once again as a repetitive manner that verification, which is missing in most of the installations so far. So in this regulation, they give much weightage on verification of electrical wiring also. Here, there is one more provision. For under regulation 46, what it says, only dry type transformer shall be used inside the residential commercial. This is a very special regulation which was brought. It is almost an ordinance. It was brought an overnight. I can say that it's an overnight regulation immediately after the Uppar tragedy that we are all aware. Uppar tragedy at Delhi, that where more than 53 people got, not because of electrocution, because of toxic fume that occurred. And more than 100 people have got incapacitated, injured. So the regulatory authorities have brought this specific thing for such buildings where residential and commercial areas are involved. So that's why I'm repeatedly concentrating on these two things. How people are affected by their own non-standard thing, and how the DISCOM is becoming a source of what you call the danger to the people. See, you can see regulation 1956, that is earth retirement and consumer premises. What it says, the supplier shall provide and maintain a consumer premises for the use of consumers. So that means the supplier should provide, you have previous slide, PME, protective multiple earth neutral. That particular conductor should be given to the consumer. Consumer in turn has to connect his protective electricity, his PE conductor, to this earth neutral terminal. They call it as earth neutral. So here there is one provision where supplier need not provide if they are satisfied and the state government is satisfied. There is a provision. It fixes the accountability on the state government. State government can fix some date because there are a lot of existing installation, and the state government is the entity to look into the safety of general public at large. Because safety always comes under the state subject in the constitution. So the regulatory authorities have left this discretion to the state government. And as per regulation 2010, you can see the same thing. Here, provider in the case of installation, one more thing they have refined from 1956. What they have refined is you should provide up to 2 volt consumer. You should provide a protected inverter his own earthing system with an independent. If the voltage exceeds 250, then the consumer should provide his own. So there are two things. Up to 250, it is a requirement of the supply because they are very low level or BPL people, they are not affordable. Supplier has to provide. The ultimate purpose is to ensure safety. Another thing, voltage exceeding 250, they are somewhat affordable. They provide, so supplier has to insist. Here also, the state government have to fix some date. So what is coming to this regulation 2023, what it says, it is 2023, just two regulations, same thing, but instead of 16, it is 18 because the regulation numbers will be jumping, some other regulations and other things. So here you can see what is the difference. The same thing. Here they have specifically pointed out that with an independent earth electrode and same shall be interlinked with the earth terminal mentioned in sub-regulation 1 through a suitable link. So consumer has to connect his earth conductor, that is protective earthing conductor, to the supplier's neutral, supplier's earth neutral terminal. That is through a suitable length for testing purpose. Here, what is the difference? This proviso is removed because this is the special provision given to the safety of general public, and the regulatory authorities have seen since 1950s, almost 50 years. No government, state government in our country have notified any date for the protection of the people. Then why this? They have simply removed. So they have made it mandatory that consumer has to be conducted. Another important question here is, can we connect? So you are compelling the consumer to connect. Is it possible to connect? We explain the next slide. Sorry to go into the technical details because it's a very big subject. Anyhow, I have to deal with this also with the objective of bringing safety to the general public at large. That is especially with the domestic premises. Here, this is again IS 732. What will be the effect of fault? Suppose if there is a fault occurring in the distribution transformer and even your own consumer HV or ME transformer, this can occur due to faulty HV winding or due to ST conductor getting at fault in the distribution line. Because this, say, for example, this 11 kV by 433 volt transformer, distribution transformer, then if there is a fault here, and if there is a fault or short circuit of lightning arresters, so eventually any fault which can become a line to earth fault, that much of current, the fault current will be flowing through the earth electrode of the substation. It can be distribution transformer substation or your own consumer installation. Here, there is an interconnection. You can see this is the interconnection between the body and the secondary neutral. See, this is the secondary neutral of the transformer. This is the body. These are interconnected. And here, what is the choice consumer has? If he can either detach his earth electrode and keep it disconnected from the protective earth neutral. This is one option. This is called TT. Suppose if this is connected, then it becomes TNS. So what will happen? See, here in TT, what will be the impressed voltages? You please don't attack much concentration on the formula and other things. What I can say is, if you have a TT system, the U2, this is the voltage impress. Any fault here will impress a voltage on the supplier transformer and consumers equipments, and these are known as the voltage impressed. These are the stress voltage that can make your equipment fail. And another thing is fault voltage. This is a touch voltage. Due to interconnection, there could be a chance of touch voltage because this will be referenced to this. So this touch voltage UR will be more. So how, depending upon the earth connection, it will be. For example, if in a TT system, if RE and RB are connected, then you can see the U2 will be, that is, your equipment will fail, but people will be safe. Suppose if it is separated, the supplier equipment will be impressed very high voltage, and we are all safe. In TNS system, what will be the possibility? If they are interconnected, the person the touch voltage will be more. If they are separated, you are safe, and supplier transformer will be, and their person will be not safe. So the thing is, if separated, we are safe. If interconnected, they are safe. This is the thing. But what will happen in field reality? You actually can't have a separated system because these are all placed in a constrained location. You can see the distribution transformers are pole mounted, and all that body and neutral, everything is located within the shortest distance. Its electrode will have its own influence on other electrode. Instead of this, despite this interconnection, the earthing can act as an interconnection. Yeah, of course, a very good interconnection. Comparatively, it may be less. So the thing is, you can't have a separated system. So what people will say, okay, let me save myself. Let me sacrifice my equipment. This is the trend. So because of this, people are not able to connect their protective earth neutral to the supply. You can see in most of the locations, if they connect, some shock will come. So they will eliminate. They don't know whether their first priority is, okay, if I connect, I am getting shock. Let me eliminate. This is a simple thing. So what standards prescribe is, you have to observe the tolerable voltage. If the voltage, you can reduce the voltage, say 600, then the tripping time should be less than 150 milliseconds. If you can reduce that touch voltage to 110, then you are allowed to have more than 1000, say 1 second. So depending upon the duration and the touch voltage, you have to observe this internationally adopted IEC tolerance voltage criteria. This is brought in figure 28 of IS 732 also. And this is another table that has been brought. This is actually IS IEC 6193 part 1. This permits, this prescribes standards for designing earthing in insulation exceeding 1 kV. This is up to 1 kV only domestic premises. This is the important standard which is prescribed for design earthing. This is on par with IEEE 80. People are accustomed with IEEE 80, but very few people are adopting this standard because IEEE 80 is very lucrative and people have gone for and accustomed with those things. So anyhow, this is the thing. See what the standards prescribe. The earth potential rise will be restricted to less than 1200 for a period of less than 5 seconds. Because these touch voltage, see for example TT, it is not applicable. In TN, it is applicable, depending upon the integrity of supplier's earthing system, which is denoted by F, which is in turn depending upon the P and conductor earthing. So this meticulous thing, please take it as your homework. So what I can say is, in supplier's fed distribution system or your own SU bar ME transfer, adopt these two things. Because temporary over voltage is something different from your lightning surges. Because lightning surges occur for a period of less than, say, it can persist for microsecond. But the over voltage, the temporary over voltage, due to a fault in the supplier's distribution or the transformer ST2 line to earth fault, that can be controlled by the supplier's circuit breaker at the substation. So depending upon the fault level. So consumers are not aware of these two things. That's why the standards prescribe that it should be made accountable and the part of. See, for example, I will say that consumers are not aware because suppliers have the transformer in one system, the same distribution company. Suppliers use different measures. Here you can see the neutral is joined with the structure, loosely joined. It is neither joined nor detached, it is loosely joined. Here you can say it is taken in a very good manner using insulators. You can see the PVC pipe, this PVC pipe. Here also it is insulator. So consumer, how we can expect the consumer to go and search the distribution company transformation configurations? Here you can see the different policies. No PME system. The neutral should be strung on metallic cross arm, and it should be provided with earth connection. But none is there, it is insulated. So consumer can't expect supply this system that is coming to regulation, because these are all non-compliance of regulations. Consumers are aware. What the consumers do is they simply provide a earth connection. Here, what the standard says, you can refer the table that I have shown previously, and the DISCOM is accountable as per class. This is the important thing. Consumer should be made a given clear awareness, because I do not say that the DISCOM officials, they are also finding some difficulties. They know, because I am confident that DISCOM officials, same official, when he works in the O&M or distribution, he has to live with this. If this person is transferred to the other areas like generating plant or substations, he can have some compliant installation. So it is also blaming. Our purpose is to empower the DISCOM engineers so that they do not feel embarrassment for the fault of the system. That I want to say without any hesitation. Another thing, depending upon the new accidents, recent accidents, I'm bringing these two things. Because street boxes, how the street light accidents come into picture. When the person touches, there is no IP protected street box, because it is actually these regulations are there for the past 50 years, even before the evolution of the standards and codes in the country and international. How beautifully they have how it is totally used through that area to analyze. So state boxes, they have said there is no IP and other thing concept there. They just said any influence. Unfortunately, this is carried over even now without assigning IP number. Choosing where standards are, because no, everybody will be confused. You go to the standard and search and then find what is the measure for this. That's IP68 or 55, something. We have to search for the standards that assigns. Another thing, maximum flood level. And this is one important maximum interval between. So previously it was for the 11 kV, for example, it was estimated. Now specifically provided even less than 60 meter, depending upon the wind conditions prevailing during the monsoon season, and the size of conductors and the pole sizes. So these are purely mechanical and civil factor of safety calculation using ultimate sign. This should be strictly followed. And while line crossing or approaching, crossing the street and road, what is the arrangement? Guarding shall be provided where line of voltage not exceeding 33. So for all the lines up to 33, you have to provide. Have we not seen such conductors which are not guarded? It is there. So these are the things that any citizen can learn and raise his concern to the authorities concerned so that it can be rectified. Another stay wire. I have seen one accident where a lady in an agricultural area have come into contact with the stay wire and got electrocuted. You should be, unless an insulator of same voltage. Say if you have 11 kV pole, then it should be of 11 kV. Are you having this 11 kV guy insulators? This is called colloquially as a guy insulator. That is fixed in the stay wire that detaches the length from the pole up to the insulator and from the ground up to the insulator, so that the person who is coming into contact with it doesn't get any injury due to electrical leakages. And this is the protection system provided for the DISCOM. See, what they have simply provided as per 17. This is another regulation, technical standards for construction of electrical plants and electrical lines regulations, sorry, 2022. So this is the Sir Arora ji? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I am doubt whether, because now only I have seen the time. I will take another 2-3 minutes, okay?
No issue, sir. Continue, please continue.
Okay, so this is a protection system where it is stipulated as you have to observe the CEA measures relating to safety in electric supply 2022. So what this 79 specifically provides is you have to provide HRC cartridge fuses. You know, see, these are things for the ST side and the LT side. What are the provisions you have to make to protect the lines? There is one more provision as per 37. This is our CEA regulation 2022. You can see as per proviso to sub-regulation 3, suppliers transformer of capacity below 1000 kVA. The linked switch with the fuse or circuit breaker shall be installed. So we have to collate all these things and send a note to the concerned authorities, whether just to check whether these are incorporated. Since we are having a lot of electric questions, recently it is raising more and more electric questions are coming to picture. So another thing is, this is the consumer's responsibility. They are writing bill day after the lines comes into picture, and the clearance is stipulated. In spite of this, they interfere with the DISCOM distribution. This is a very great headache. This is a blatant violation. There is provision, but it is not observed by the consumer. So another important thing is voltage classification. See, this voltage classification, they are all confused. Whether I have to say medium voltage or high voltage or low voltage, we are all confused because as per NEC, you can see as per class 323, it is clear that we have to use the IE rule 1950 S12 because IE rule 2 AV of 1956, which was specifying low voltage, medium voltage, high voltage. Now those things are taken away and only exceeding 650 and exceeding 250. These are the things making more. These are the phrases. This can be replaced by LV. This is only a suggestion that can, because he has done a lot groundwork and do the things. But still, there are scope for amendments because, for example, when there are two different supplies, for example, a generator or a transformer. If there is a generator, 415 volt generator, and the secondary supply of transformer is 433, and we want to avoid invertent backfield, then we have to observe this. Then why this voltage exceeding 250? So this is not confusing. People know, but it's only a small error that can be, because these are all functional oriented, not related to the voltage. Another thing is, where two or more generators operate in parallel, they should ensure this is a neutral switching arrangement. Here, it is only a choice. You need not have a neutral switching arrangement compulsory. You can provide a single pole, single point earthing also. Here, it is coming under the 650 volt, exceeding 650. See, we have seen a lot of LT generators with 450 volt for multiple things. It's applicable for these things. So these are proved things, give hope for the implementer to or the contractor to interpret wrongly, and the protection of against lightning. Because this is the thing, we are abusing lightning protection. Is the important thing. But the standards have, the regulation have given some clear measure. The owner of every water plant shall adopt means as per relevant standards. What's the relevant standard as per IEC 6099? This is good. This is poor because, for example, if you leave the lightning arrestor with a separated threshold and transformer with a separate, this is a poor arrangement. They have shown with the figure. And if you are connected it like this, it's good. But if you have avoided this length of conductor and minimized this is the loop. Here you can see this is the loop. Here there is no loop at all. Here this is a big loop. Here this is a small loop where during the lightning surge the LDI by dt will be very less. Here that will be very high. It will damage the lightning arrestor instead of protecting the equipment, say transformer. So the LAs will become the thing. It will be fused. Its purpose is to protect the transformer. Transformer, for example, for a 11 kV transformer will be having a BA, basic insulation level of 25 kV. So your lightning arrestor feed first because of the SSD transformer. This is insulator. But they are just connect it. Here it is. It is a manufacturer's panel. So these are the things where people misconstrue and misapply. Traditionally, for the past several years, and it has been hardwired in our brain, we hesitate to adopt a standard practice. Another thing, this role of chartered electrical safety engineer, this is an important thing that the regulation has brought in to address the area of LT and MU premises, which is neglected where prices are very. So the contractor's role is to see the licensed contractors alone carry out the work. Another thing, testing of consumer premises. You should be done and duly signed by the licensed contractor. It is there in under regulation 33. And this is again as per standard. Supply shall maintain a record of trust. Is it happening? As per regulation, supplier may refuse to connect the supply if these are all not compliant. So the regulation is so beautiful and so strong in this area, but implementation is very. For example, according to 45.5, this is the 45 is for new connection. While effecting a new connection, what are things to be done? What instruction is read by electrical inspector or CEAs according to the voltage limits classified, limits declared by the state government. In most of the state governments, these varies. In one state it will be 650, another state it will be 11 kV, in another state it will be 33 kV. This is the area where the notification under up to which the CESs, we have to thank the Maharashtra. It is only state which has come out something with the CESs concept. None of other states in our country has moved even an inch towards it for the past 10 years. So according to 45.5, the owner test every circuit. How the owner will test? He has to use the contractor. So the testing every circuit is vested. Accountability is vested with the owner. And regulation 32, it should be conducted by the electrical inspector or the CESs also. That is self-certified by the supplier also. So why I'm saying providing this is the periodicity shall not exceed 5 years. Can we do the maintain this periodicity? Every instance should be inspected within a period of less than 5 years. Is it possible in this major country where 140 crores people are living and we are having 100 crores service connections? It is quite impossible. That's why the government, the regulatory authorities have introduced the term competent electrical safety engineers as per regulation 6, but unfortunately it is practically remaining unimplemented and missing. And this is the verification testing. This is nothing but as per class 6 of IS 732 and as per class 623, these are the tests available. Apart from the, for example, continuity of conductors means first conductor, your predictive working conductor to make the automatic clearance of fault to ensure that's the loop impedance. So there are a lot of tests. Just 10 tests. This should be conducted in sequence. Suppose if you have conducted fourth test and there's a failure, you start from 1. So this is the clearly depicted in prescribed in IS 732 also. But unfortunately, this is missing. Even the new regulation 2020 should also have to revise the forms specified for this, and the contractor CEC's role of electrical inspectors will have to ensure, apart from the small mistakes in the regulation, they have to ensure the fundamental principle. So in conclusion, what I can say is electrical accidents do not happen. Already shown. It is already shown in it. And it is readily available to make harm. It obeys the rules. We only harm and divert its force and we become the victims. So coming to the reason is electrification is mostly construed as an act of God. Not like it is they are declaring, but in a judgment they have specific of electrification. You can't say he inadvertently contracted. By night, there is a possibility. So electricity is a hazard. You know, the provider knows that it is a hazard. So the provider has to ensure what are the things. Unlike the natural disasters like tsunami or what you call tremor, etc., you can't blame for the normal course, even during the wind. If there is a very big wind, a very gust and other things, they are already termed as natural hazard. So nature, act of nature is already defined. Beyond that, we can't say attribute everything to the act of nature. So that is why the ruling comes into picture. Unfortunately, we do not get a sizable, decent, at least we can't recover the life. Let the kins get some decent compensation. For illicit liquor, we have 10 lakh. For the conductor snapped person, we sometimes do not get. Some people, some state, they give only up to 2 lakhs. So there should be a decent approach in compensating the alter on par with road accident. So evaluate the national level uniform compensation mechanism for electrifications and compare with the discount funding, because discount funding happens from all the financial institutions across the world, whether it is some other agencies or the central government. It happens. Why don't they club it with the safety aspects also. So the changes to minimize interpretation should occur. CEA role should be enhanced, and the third-party inspection to avoid conflict in the interrupt should attract DISCOM also, because it is going unrestricted violations in DISCOM happening there. And major funding should be given to the DISCOM and made accountable, and safety measures should also be seen on par with the concessional measures. We have to empower the DISCOM officials from the rightful practices as per regulation. So I think I have consumed more of valuable time. Anyhow, Rajesh ji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this insightful, brilliant presentation.
With this, I would like
we have learned new things because I understand all the 14 chapters of news regulations distribution 2020 cannot be covered in that small time given for presentation. Because of paucity of time, you have taken very selected points. Very appreciable. You have done a very commendable job. Sir, there you have already covered the street box regulation IC 61936-1. You have talked about EPR, you talked about stay wire, gay wire, clause 74. You have given some references of clause 79, clause 47, voltage classes 61000-3-6. You touch upon class 77 lightning connections. You talked about the CEC and the testing requirements for all the premises. I have only two small questions before I invite question from my audience. Only two things. I have seen your presentation that was in fact very wonderful and brilliant, insightful. You have mentioned in your presentation that as per the new regulation 2023 of CEA Safety Regulation, all the electric pole must be connected at multiple points. My question is how multiple connection of electrical pole can reduce or minimize the electrical accident happening in my system, especially during the rainy seasons?
Yes, that's a right question. That's why I have explained the matter with 2-3 slides, special slides to minimize. See, the fault current flow is to the earth resistance.
Right.
If the earth resistance is somewhere unimaginable 0.001 ohm, because of the 1 ohm, the fault current of several thousand ohms, the voltage rise will be in the order of 3 volt. Right. How to achieve this 0.001 ohm? With parallel connection. There's a special entity given to the DISCOM. You provide parallel connection. The neutral and protective earthing conductor are common. TNC. Neutral and protective. This is common. So in the pole, you provide a cross arm. They are providing cross arm in which they are running the phase conductors on the insulator. Why they run the conductor, neutral conductor also on the insulator? Just to run it on a metallic frame. Of course, a pole is also a concrete encased pole is also a poor earth electrode. It can offer say 50 ohm or 100 ohm. If there are hundreds of concrete poles, you see, and hundreds of consumers, you see, the combined earth resistance will drastically observe.
Great. And my second question related to the clause 77 of regulation, lightning arrestor connection. Transformer in my case. But practically speaking, for EHV systems, for the transformer more than 11 kV, even 11 kV, that is quite cumbersome job to connect your LA just parallel to your transformer. How to address that issue?
See, first of all, we are concerning with the domestic and anyhow, answer installations, say 110 kV, 230 or 400 volt. The BAL will also be very high. BAL of the protected equipment.
Right.
And there will be a constraint you can't provide the lighting arrestor on the floor
Right.
to minimize the heat. You have to maintain the standard clearance.
Right.
If you provide that clearance, the L is equal to LDA by dt will be certainly restricted by calculation. You can show that the lighting arrestor selection and its I wanted to prove that the method of installation is wrong, invariably wrongly done in all this. If it is observed, then the manufacturer's product standards is also there to take care of. You have to provide in each installation, the LAs will be at a high. No doubt, the earth flat will be lengthy, but this drop will not affect because of the higher insulation BAL of the equipment and the lightning of the selection. It is a special subject that you have to.
Okay, now I would like to invite questions from the participant. Kindly raise your hand one by one and unmute yourself, and don't lose the opportunity to ask questions from the legends, Appavoo Sir, directly one-to-one. It's a great opportunity.
No legend. I am learning many things from you and the participants. Every participant's questions are valuable to me. I can learn new things and raise my standards.
Yes, there is very first hand from Mr. Kazi Saab. Kindly unmute, sir. Then Germany is also there. Kindly unmute one by one. Yes.
Good evening, sir. This is Riaz Kazi from Pune. I have one question related to Chartered Electrical Safety Engineer implementation at India level. There are some states are implementing Chartered Electrical Safety Engineers, but many states in India no implementation is going on. So, as a professional, what we can do to force government agencies to implement the Chartered Electrical Safety Engineer, which is a very critical and important aspect to have a professional and good knowledgeable persons in this electrical safety professional. That will be great help to reduce electrical accident to improve infrastructure.
Very valid question.
Riaz ji, I know that you are the first CEC, isn't it? In our country. So Riaz, are you there? Okay. There are very few CECs in Maharashtra. After this stringent question, these people have come out, no doubt. They are not recognized. They are not employed. They are not vested because they are on par with the electrical inspectors in SSSing staff, whether self-certification or inspection. Because electrical inspectors are supposed to below notified voltage, there is no people to inspect. Certainly, what his question is right. This is a challenging area that we all have to unite and impress the government. This is not a technical issue. This is an implementation issue. That's why I have pointed out in so many areas where implementation is totally either missing or getting delayed.
Now, Mr. Germany, kindly unmute and ask your questions. Welcome to the show. Sir, kindly unmute.
Sir, good evening. Both are all are interconnected, but even the lightning arrest earth bit also we are interconnected, sir. Is this correct?
See, that's why I have told that it is hardwired in our brain that we should not interconnect. 99 people adapt, then it has become a regular practice. Though it is wrong, if 99 people go in the road on the right side instead of left, it is wrong, but it will become hardwired. They will adopt that unlawful activity. It's unlawful, it is illegal, it is against standard to have the separate standalone. There is no standalone. You can't have earth electrode, separate earth electrode, independent earth electrode. These are all myths. If you provide one risotto, it's a motor. In earth, you can't have a separated.
For many years,
Without
we
interconnect.
have been
Without
asking
interconnect.
for one location, one earthing. I have made one video on the same thing also. We have to make people aware. For one location, there should not be two separate electrode and earthing system. There should be one earthing system.
Let us learn from today. At least we have done wrong so far. Let us learn from today according to internationally acceptable standards and our own standards. Everything is going right. Even regulation is going right. In the 77 regulation, you adopt the first regulation only. You omit the second and third regulation. That is what I can say. You know.
That should be the takeaway of this section. One location, one earthing.
It will be complicated. They are not able to understand whether we have to interconnect or private or separate. If you go for a high-tech concept, they will forget everything. Just interconnect.
Any question? Mr. Sagi has written in the chat box. He has one question. Kindly unmute, sir. You are free to ask question. Our side, Bharat is present. Okay. Because we are running out of time, and finally, I would like to request Bhai Saab to say vote of thanks and give the feedback. Mubarak Khanji, do you have any question? Please unmute. Gulab, kindly unmute Mubarak Khanji. Yes, sir. Please. You are audible right now.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Rajesh. Actually, I typed my question sometime back during the presentation. So I just read it out. I really appreciate Appavoo Sir presentation was about the basic installation practices which should be there, which are being often misunderstood or ignored by the people who are doing. So that is one part of it. But since my particular niche is the financial monitoring, and every time we have a discussion, I think of how we can monitor and make it. So just I wanted to ask this question. We talked about that there is a regulation for having bus turning system in the high-rise buildings, right?
Right.
So is it about 15 floors or 20 floors? So your voice is not clear.
You are mute.
No, Mr. Mubarak Khanji, your voice is breaking. Specifically, what is the final query that you are raising?
So question is, like as you mentioned, that are you able to hear me clearly?
No, sir. There is some technical glitch at you, and we are not getting your voice.
You are in the chat box as well.
If I am not wrong, your question related to the building, high-rise building, where the height is more than 15 meters. That was explained by Appavoo Sir.
Oh,
Can we elaborate that?
okay, it is clear. See, regulation is clear that above 15 meters it applies.
Okay.
For other buildings, I think is.
Yes, you have also mentioned that airports and hospitals and.
For other buildings, this is the doubt that you have raised, I think. For other buildings, irrespective of height.
Yes.
Otherwise, you do not come into that regulation as well.
Okay.
Mr. Mubarak, do you hear me?
Yes, I am able to hear you. I would request Rajesh to read my question from the chat box.
I have guessed your question. Your question is regulation, whether the regulation applies for other buildings, irrespective of the height. Is it your question? Just that's not.
Okay, and now I would like to.
You make it in a chat box. He will send you a reply. Because
Can I get mute, sir? Vice up. Gulab, unmute Vice up.
Is it coming?
Yes, sir.
My voice is coming.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes.
Rajeshji, yes, good evening to Rajeshji and to Appavoo Saab and all my friends you see who are listening me. I honestly don't have words with the efforts made by Rajeshji. I think probably he's doing a wonderful job for all of us. Day in, day out, thinking something or other for our welfare or well-being, safety measures for the countrymen. And it is before I talk further, I must congratulate Rajesh ji from the core of my heart. Then Appavoo Saab. Recently, you see, he accentuated the mission Accident Free India, where we had the brainstorming session. Appavoo Saab was also there, Bansal Saab was there, and Madam Anjali Chandra, see all of my other friends also. Well, I really appreciate, Rajesh ji, I don't have words, and I think all of you will join me in congratulating him for the excellent efforts he always makes. Today's this webinar also, where Appavoo Saab has done a wonderful job bringing out the various regulations, the CEA Safety Regulations. It is really again a step towards accident-free India. This is what I think the preliminary words of Appavoo Saab said, and I exactly join. And he has talked very well today about the accountability part, the effectiveness of Hearthing System, effectiveness of the protection system, then the lightning arresters, how to be installed, and then about the multiple earthing, then about the safety aspects in buildings, you see 15 meters and above 50 meters, like airports, like railway stations, all such important areas, how to do it. And at the last, he has made his conclusions, very well concluded session from his side, that accidents never happen as such. They happen due to negligence. And the government on the other side, or the suppliers on the other side, who are at fault, they do a very poor compensation, giving say 2 lakhs, 5 lakhs, something like amount. So exactly something you see tangible has to be done by the government, creating an ordinance. And I'm happy to say, when it says yes, there has got to be ordinance like use of dry type of transformers in very peculiar situations and vulnerable areas. And this is I think, and above all, there is a question you see from my friend, that how we basically have to implement. There is a good step. There are revised regulations, but all of us, we have to put our head down, thinking exactly, and is right, that there's got to be some people inside all the inside the utilities, discoms, supplier side, who should ensure, yes, this regulation is complied with, and and effectively done, so that there are no accidents. Because our objective, our is exactly to reduce the accidents, which are as close to as 20,000 people dying, say roughly, say in a year, or to say, you can say 40 to 50% dying every day. Recently, 16% died in Uttarakhand because of, again, say, negligent thing happening. So I don't want to discuss that in detail, because through the social media. But what I want to say, every day there is a news. Every day we in the group also discuss this thing. And I, with folded hands to all my friends listening, with all my humble way of requesting them, kindly do your best in each and every corner where you are. Kindly help us reduce this spate of accidents in the country. This is a mission which has been started by Rajesh ji. I always salute him, that within 10 years he has done so many things, you see, for us. He has done PhD in earthing. I know, as a young guy coming to us in CBIP, picked up an idea. Yes, earthing is a subject that we were discussing. And not that he picked up the idea, he did the PhD on that, and that his knowledge is always available for us, is helping us for having effective earthing. And then he started the mission Igniting Power Engineers. Then he started the Accident Free India mission. Then he daily has, he gives us a very crisp message, like each installation, each earthing, as he was talking, just we always keep on reading his very, very crisp, vital, wonderful message. And then talking to the legions in the country, he started a series. So many things, you see, in no time, probably doesn't sleep. And I wish that all of us, we must join him in a big way. You see, helping him take this mission, Accident Free India, and all my best wishes to all of you, to Rajesh ji, to Appavoo Sir, for doing a wonderful job for today's CE webinar. He has done a wonderful thing, helping us know many things which we didn't know it. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, everyone.
And we had talked about the missions to make India free of electrical accidents because of negligence of safety rules and earthing. Chat box, yes, I pledge to make India free of electrical accidents. Kindly do that thing at the end of that. And with that, I would like to say thank you all the participants who have spared their time and joined this very important, vital subject webinar by Respected Appavoo Sir on CEA Safety Regulation 2023. Thank you, Appavoo Sir, and all the participants. Kindly write down, I pledge to make India free of electrical accidents. Raise your hand, that can be done. Thank you everyone. Thanks a lot. And this is not the end, this is the beginning. We will meet again with new topic in the same series to make our India, our nation, our state free of electrical accidents. Thank you very much. Thank you.